But how do you feel about the fact that you can see Britain changing? And as an immigrant, you're somebody who's supportive of it.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen Britain changing slowly in the beginning.
You moved in the 60s, was it, or 70s?
I came here in the 70s, yeah.
Great.
I've seen it changing all the time. It's always been in a state of flux. I think it got very much better in the 70s and the 80s.
Hold on, we had the strikes and industry failed, didn't it?
Yeah.
But things maybe got better in other ways.
Yeah, things got better in other ways. And I'm just amazed at this survey. I can't believe it. As I said earlier, you know, I've got quite a few Muslim friends, and I can't imagine they.
But is this a function of the fact we're in the middle of a war in the Middle East, which has upset a great many British Muslims, and they're just being a bit belligerent in this month?
I don't know. I'm not an expert.
No.
It may be when whatever the percentage was, the high percentage says that they support Hamas. That's kind of hard to see when they've been declared by everyone as a terrorist organization.
Yes. Apart from the BBC.
Maybe that
knew he'd say that.
Maybe that is simply a reaction to what's happened recently, or maybe it's more deep-seated. I don't really know, but I just find it absolutely shocking. I know my Muslim friends are they seem embarrassed. They seem they're kind of.
I've got Muslim friends, Roger, who think that there's a social class element. I've said this before, where what we are not bringing the most gifted people in the world from the Islamic world. What we are bringing is low-skilled labour, and they will be more backward than the intellectuals in their own country.
Except that again, I'm not an expert at all. I have no idea. I just know that my Muslim friends, they're not much different than this talk about the Jews being afraid to go out. They're afraid to go out on the street and be criticized. And the survey, I believe, the gentleman told us, did say that it's actually the British-born, highly educated Muslim younger people who are the majority of people who feel this way. So he said it's not a social thing. You asked a question, will they grow out of it? People get less radical as they grow older, and he said he didn't think so. So I
just wonder whether there's also an element of this, which is people like the Labour Party, people like the Socialist Workers, people like Black Lives Matter have told British Muslims that they are hated in this country, that they are the enemy of the state, and that if we could, we'd run some sort of, modern-day Holocaust against them. Those things are not true. But if I was a young Muslim and I had that force-fed down my throat, then I have to say to you,
social media
I'd be radical as well.
It must be horrible. I mean, absolutely. Certainly my Muslim friends, when they go out and mingle with strangers that they don't know, that is a concern of theirs. But the rest of this survey, it's so, I haven't really taken it all.
I mean, I must admit, I knew a lot of good lads who, after the 7/7 bomb attacks, they'd get on the bloody tube with a rucksack, and of course, I can understand this. People are absolutely terrified. So I had a mate who just used to open his bag and show everyone. I mean, that can't make you feel very good.
I mean, we've got a lot.
That made me panic even more if they did that.
We've got a lot of Muslims in government at all levels, in all parties. Are you going to tell me that almost half of them feel this way, these politicians?
No, I don't believe that.
I can't believe that.
I think what has happened is, I think the reason why 50% of British Muslims support Hamas is because there has been a project that we have railed against, and Asher particularly, there's been a project to make Hamas sound reasonable. The Gaza Health Ministry. What are you talking about? It's the Hamas press office, right? The other day we had all on the British media, the leader of Hamas sat in his 5-star hotel lamenting that his sons had been killed, and you think, it's you who's done it. And of course,
the way they've made it palatable is to say that it didn't happen. It's like Holocaust denial.
But exactly, that's my other point about this, is they say, 1 in 4 British Muslims believe that Hamas committed. I think they do believe it, but they're sort of being, denying it happened. It's more like that.
I could never understand about Holocaust deniers, because why is it the people who really wanted would have loved the Holocaust to have happened, who believed it didn't? And you think that's just not authentic.
It's embarrassed about it, which says a lot.
I'll tell you what I think has happened. there's always been this fact that's been on the TV, which is it was mostly off-duty Israeli soldiers that were killed. Well, because of conscription in Israel, basically everybody is an off-duty Israeli soldier. And so I think that what has happened here is that people like your Owen Jones of this world, he's not gay, mate, you're not gay. He has successfully persuaded people that what Hamas did was bad in terms of an incursion, but it wasn't as egregious. Oh, the Israelis are lying about the beheading of babies. No rapes took place, blah, de, blah, de, blah. And I think that has been catastrophically damaging to world peace. And I go as far as saying that because we are now in a position where we have successfully persuaded the globe that all Israel is doing is kicking the living daylights out of a wholly innocent populace.
And forget about the hostages that are there right now, and I think they heard today about 20 of them are actually dead of the 130 that are left.